This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. There we go. What the hell happened there? Woo! Oh, look at God. What's going on with Chloe? Whoa, what are you doing, Chloe? There we go. There's the stream goal again. Yep. Yeah, it was weird. After I left, the day crew got to the goal, but man, before I left, an hour into the show, it was already basically at the goal, and then when I got back, it was just barely got to the goal. What do you guys do when I'm away, man? It's amazing. Oh, you like that one? Cool. Hey, thank you, Jessica Schubach. That's right. Let's get the July start off great.
Starting July off with a bang.
Oh, watch this. You guys get to see the blue hug here, or the Chloe hug. I mean, watch this. Watch this. Oh, look at that, huh? Hey, CaliGal3, thank you so much. If you guys want to see an update on the, I think I've got an update of the, where the hell did I put it though? Of my garage situation. Okay, so this is what the deal is. Well, I kind of explained it. I don't have to talk. I mean, I say it in the video here. So they're putting they just put this whole thing in right here. How come there's no audio? Is there a place where the? Oh, there it is. So that's the door I used to come out and step down to. So here we go. These steps right here are going to actually go all the way across. These are just temporary steps. I think they're going to use these bigger boards that are right there. And so that's the door I used to come out and step all
that
stuff on the door is from the dog.
Block down there.
From blue.
There's these steps
scraping
that go down to that. And it was just really ugly. And now there's a deck here that go into this.
So that there should be just a door there into the garage.
Yeah, let's see if I can do the walkthrough here. So here we go. Look at it. Actually, it's the water heater, stack washer and dryer is going to go right there. And so here we go. This is the.
So now you can actually see walls.
Sink is going to be medicine cabinet.
Toilet's right next to it there.
The shower
right
will
there.
Push back into that space, but that's the space back there.
Yeah, it's starting to move along a little bit.
See that? So it's kind of a small bathroom, but it's going to be, it'll work. Then right over here, this area is the office. That's the new electrical panel. This is the, it's like a little cove or inlet, I guess you could say. Might put a refrigerator in there. Who knows? And there's going to be Ethernet cables up here. Power. Ethernet cable is going to come out over here, and an Ethernet cable over here. So it's kind of dark in this corner. Right there, there's going to be a 5x3 window. So there is a window there. Now this is about up to my waist here. So here's way back in the corner.
Doggy door.
That's all
Smiley
going to be
face.
walls and everything. They're just doing the framing. So there you go. So right here, there'll be a door right here, then a bathroom. Then right over here is where the laundry will be. And it's awesome.
Thanks, Georgina Stoliker.
And you come out, oh, look at, there's blue. Come on, Chloe. Come on, Chloe. Come on, come on, come on.
She's learning how to go up these stairs. She's scared of
Hard
them.
time getting up these. Come on, Chloe, you can do it. Yes, kind of.
That's funny watching her do. Watch her just twirl around. Watch
There's
this.
space in there, and she looks weird to her. Hey, Chloe, what's going on?
Twirl, 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 twirl. Yeah. Anyways, that was it. So there you go, you guys. Update. Quite a bit more since the last one, but it's still it's going to be like another month and a half or something. It's crazy. I think they got to still finish up on the electricity, finish up on that deck thing. Anyways, that's where we're at. You know, I don't know what I was going to say. I was watching this, like there's this channel I watch on the Portland Trailblazers. And Damian Lillard today, it was really strange because there was a player named Jeremy Grant on the team who got brought here by Damian Lillard. Hey, thanks, CaliGal3. Oh, you're so kind. Thank you. So his name is Jeremy Grant. His father played for the Blazers, but he came here because Lillard wanted him to come here last year. Then they signed him. He said he wasn't going to come back unless Lillard was going to be on the team. So he signed a 5-year, just like 2 days ago, a 5-year, $160 million contract. And then Lillard says, oh, I want to be traded. The second. The UFO. Yeah. So anyways, Damian Lillard, you know, one of the best scorers in franchise history. I wouldn't say he's one of the best players. I'd say he's one of the best scorers in, you know, if not the best scorer in franchise history. He demanded to be traded today, which is weird because the other player said he wasn't going to sign unless Lillard committed to staying here. So that's pretty strange. But anyways, I was watching this channel who cover the Blazers. I've been a die-hard Blazer fan my entire life. I've watched almost every single game. But I was watching this channel, and, you know, you could kind of claim they're sort of like I am on certain cases when people say something that's absolutely against reality. But in sports, it's mainly opinions about how you think about stuff. So they'd always get angry. Like if ever you said, you know, I think it's time to trade Lillard. Oh, yeah! And I was watching today, and these guys, one of them actually started crying on the show. You know, like, I'm okay with guys crying and stuff like that. You know, like, it doesn't bother me. But you're crying because we traded away a basketball player? I mean, cry about, like, if your brother died or your mother or, you know, something tragic. I mean, he was here for 11 years, for God's sakes. You know, I watched every game that he played. You know, I didn't like his style of play, so, I mean, I love the games where he was just absolutely crazy, and he made every freaking shot. It was absolutely amazing. But every game that he played like that came at the lack of everybody else getting touches and getting into the flow of their game. It was very rare when somebody else was allowed to get into the flow of their game and thus develop their careers. Okay, so I really don't understand that somebody's going to be crying. It was actually kind of scary. I mean, that means these people are just
fanatical wackos, not just fans. I mean, you know, it's a business, you guys. Yeah, I mean, I was really bummed when they traded Drazen Petrovic years ago. He was my favorite player. But I didn't shed one tear, you know. You just didn't care, Gray. Give me a break. Anyways, just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, I needed the trigger money on there. That's just weird. And everybody was like, oh, God, I feel you, man. I feel you. Really? Wow. But that's Portland for you, I guess, you know. Yeah, me too. I mean, I watch everything. I watch every single Blazer game. I think it's freaking amazing watching the games. But, man, to cry over a trade? A guy that's been here? Here's the thing. Let me just, I mean, I know you guys aren't Blazers fans, but I'm just talking to you about it. I might actually start a talk show about the Blazers only, okay, at some point. The Blazers, I don't know, I just don't understand it. I've been here for years following the Blazers. I mean, literally 40 years I've been a huge Blazer fan. Probably more than that. 44 years or so. And players come and go, and people are saying how poorly they treated Dame because they didn't put anybody around him. Well, he was one of the reasons that you couldn't put somebody around him. First of all, he made a ton of money, which was hard to get other players that would, you know, salary caps at certain points. And then he also demanded that a few of these really shitty players get these massive contracts because they were friends of his, so they appeased him and did that. And that didn't, most players were terrible, and it caused many years of nothingness. Then lately they got these pretty good players around him. And they started last year off amazing. They were 10-3, playing this really fun team basketball. And then, after they lost a couple games, Dame decided, oh, I gotta go back to the way I used to do it. And he just kept shooting and shooting and shooting, and like, just, you know, ISO basketball, the most boring shit you've ever seen in your life. And unless he's hot, then it's the greatest thing you've ever seen. What you want is a team-oriented game where everybody's moving the ball around, they're all getting touches, and everybody is doing the things that they can do best. It's just unreal. And everyone's like, oh, they treated him terribly. You know how much money he's going to make next year, guys? Throw out a number. He's going to make, his salary next year is $60 million for a season. And there's other players working just as hard as he is. They get like 3. No, he's getting, his next year's salary is $60 million. He gets a third of the entire team. Yeah. $3 million. Man, what year was that? That was like 90. Yeah, that's insane. You know, oh yeah, they treated him so badly. We've only given you $500 million. Give me a break. All right, anyways, I'm going to move on now to the actual story. But man, seeing somebody actually cry over a trade, whew, wow. Yeah, there's a salary cap in the NBA. Yep. And if you go over the tax, there's a tax on going over the salary, so there's a tax on that. And then if you go over another number, there's a like super tax where you just get creamed. Yeah. So, anyways, you guys, that's it. Just unreal. I don't feel, I'm so happy to let these new players shine and do what they can do. Because a lot of these players have the ability to be just as good as he is. Maybe even better. They just haven't been given a chance. I know I should send the guy a freaking a trigger bunny
Yeah, don't. And he said he'll ban anybody who says anything disparaging against Dame that day. Yeah, that's just really, God. Oh, we don't know what the super tax is. I'm just saying. I mean, when you say, whoa, that's a lot of tax, I don't know what that means. All right, so anyways, there's this crazy case going on right now of Mary Elizabeth Isbell Wright. Really long name there. I'm not sure. It's interesting that she has the same last name. I'm not sure she was actually married to the person that she has the last name Wright of, but let's just start back in time here. I found an article from July 11th last year. Now let's see what this says in it. All right, this is from Way 31, WAAY 31. And yes, everybody, this is a new month here. So if you'd like to help support the channel and the goals, this last month we just gave $5,000 away out of the income from the channel, which is pretty amazing. We're at, what are we at now? So if you missed last night, we are now at $30,850 for the year, $157,600 since January 2020. And this year we have Rain with $4,250, Innocence Project $1,500, Texas EquiSearch $3,850, Black and Missing $1,000, Indigenous Vision $500, Project Recovery $1,000, Wounded Warrior $1,500. Our DNA fund has $11,500. Did I actually add to that yesterday? Sort of wondering. And then Micmac $3,750 and Rain $4,250, Innocence Project $1,500, and I think that Texas EquiSearch $3,850. I'm not sure if I'm doubling up now. Hey, thank you so much. Bama forever. Yeah. So, pretty amazing.
New month.
All right, so this is the lady right here. And thanks again, Bama Forever. And let's see, what are we at? Bama Forever, Caligal 3, Georgina Stoliker, Caligal 3 again, Jessica Schubach up there. Yeah, so there we go. So this says it's been nearly 6 months. So this is in July 8th, but it says it's been nearly 6 months since Mary Elizabeth Isbell was reported missing. So she was reported missing in maybe January of 2021, or 22, I mean. Mary Elizabeth Isbell Wright, who usually goes by Beth, was reported missing in January to Hartselle Police Department. Not sure if that's how you say that, but that's how I said it. Now, the Cobb County Sheriff, this is in Alabama, echoed the police department's call for public help as Isbell has ties to both areas. In the month leading up to her disappearance, she was suspected of a theft in DeKalb County. The sheriff's office said the theft involved an apartment she was living at with her boyfriend, James Allen Wright. So I'm not sure what this theft thing is. In the month leading up to her disappearance, she was suspected of a theft in DeKalb County. So, like, the police were in on that. The sheriff's office said the theft involved an apartment she was living at with her boyfriend, James Allen Wright. James Wright was arrested by the sheriff's office in September, so her boyfriend was arrested. I mean, this is all stuff that's not in the new articles out here. Pretty interesting. James Wright was arrested by the sheriff's office in September of 2021. So he was arrested by the sheriff's department and released to a Florida rehab facility in November of 2021. So he had to go to a Florida rehab facility arrested in September. Then he goes to a Florida rehab facility, and then she goes missing. The sheriff's office said while he was in jail, Beth Wright was living where she could in DeKalb County. So apparently while he was in jail, she had to just sort of live on people's couches or something. In late November, she visited her mother's home in Hartselle. She was spotted the next day across the street from her son's school, also in Let me see where that is. No, it's way over here. It's not even in DeKalb County. Alright, so there's not, how about you, let's see how many schools are in there. Schools in, okay, so there's a few different schools in here. Mary Isbell, mother. Okay, and we won't be able to get the. Alright, so it says in late November. Are you guys following along here? It's a pretty crazy story. In late November, she visited her mother's home in Hartselle. She was spotted the next day across the street from her son's school. That was November 23rd, 2021. Investigators say Beth Wright hasn't been seen since. Beth Wright turned 38 on June 30th. She described as being 5 feet 6 inches tall and weighing about 128 pounds with brown hair and eyes. Anyone with information is to contact the police in the DeKalb County but I'm not going to give you the number because she has been found. So let's see what this says.
A mother is desperately searching for her daughter tonight, gone without a trace. In this Way 31 exclusive, she explains the last time anyone saw Mary Isbell and her worst fears about where she might be. Debbie Wood is heartbroken, to say the least. Her daughter, 38-year-old Mary Elizabeth Isbell, a fun-loving mother from Hartselle. Debbie Wood is heartbroken, to say the least. Her daughter, 38-year-old Mary Elizabeth Isbell, a fun-loving mother from Hartselle, has been missing since November 23rd of last year.
Part of me wants to believe she's still here. The other part says, get ready for a funeral if we can just find her remains.
Wood says she stopped by the house that day, but a young girl didn't answer because she didn't know who Mary was. She later identified her in pictures from police.
I called my husband Danny at work, and they left Huntsville and headed home. He called the police because we really didn't know at the time who it was. And by the time he got there, the police was gone, but they were up the road and no more sign of Beth.
Police say they first received reports of Isbell being gone in January.
I think she got mixed up with some wrong people, made some bad choices, and now we can't find her.
Typically, we don't have adults go missing this long. Even drug addicts turn up or make contact with a family member within 2 or 3 months. So this is abnormal.
Her mother says she was in a new but troubled relationship.
They were always fighting. And then it's like, poof, he's gone. Don't know where he's at. I finally get to talk to him, and he said he didn't even know she's missing.
Now her only wish is that someone who knows anything will just come forward.
I need my baby girl. And if I have to get her body back, I'd rather have her alive. But my fear is she's not with us anymore.
Debbie Wood says police checked out several homes in DeKalb County where Isbell lived. They found her driver's license and her social security card, but not her. If you know anything about where she might be, call authorities.
So anyways, a mother just found like 3 different spots in this area here, so I don't know which one. I think it might be this one, since it says 2022 on it.
Actually, it says 1986 to 2022. So maybe this house right here. I think that might be it. Oh, there's a street view right to the driveway there. So I think back here, maybe that one. Okay, then we move forward in time. And it says, Alabama woman charged with kidnapping, killing woman by pushing her off a cliff. I mean, is this crazy or what? I mean, look at that. Loretta Carr was arrested Sunday, June 25, 2023, on capital murder and kidnapping charges. A Fort Payne woman has been arrested after authorities say she kidnapped a woman and pushed her from a cliff nearly 2 years ago. Loretta Kay Carr, 43, has been charged with capital murder, kidnapping. She was arrested Sunday and is being held in DeKalb County Jail without bond. According to court documents, Carr has been charged with intentionally causing the October 2021 death of Mary Elizabeth Isbell by pushing her off a cliff. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office has not released any details on the arrest as of Tuesday afternoon. So keep your eye out on a affidavit of some sort. We gotta go over this one. This is nuts. Okay, hold on one second. All right, my wife came in. Say hello. Alabama woman busted for kidnapping. And this is the New York Post. Pushing woman by off. What the hell is that? Look at this, by the way. Look at this crazy shit on television. Watch this. Did you ever see that? He just walks off the stage. Really weird. Pushing woman off a cliff nearly 2 years ago. An Alabama woman was busted this weekend for allegedly kidnapping a woman and pushing her off a cliff nearly 2 years ago. Loretta Kay Carr, 45, was taken into custody on June 25th on capital murder and kidnapping charges. Carr is accused of kidnapping Isbell in October of 2021. I wonder what this says. I mean, that's her right there. That's her. Who, me? She's probably saying. She has requested a preliminary hearing citing the lack of evidence for the capital murder charge. Let's see what this says. June 27th. A Fort Payne woman has been charged with capital murder in connection with the disappearance of a woman. According to a criminal complaint, let's see what this says. Reported missing. Oh, that's January 19th. Let's see what this one says. This is the original article when she was reported missing. 2 law enforcement agencies are asking for the community's help in finding a missing woman. Hartselle Police and the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office need help finding Mary Elizabeth Wright. DCSO said she has been last seen driving a dark-colored Jeep, and she has family in DeKalb County. Anyone with information is asked to call the police. So that was the very first one right there. And the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office in January 22 saying she had family in Hartselle but was last known to live in DeKalb County. The 37-year-old had last been seen driving a dark-colored Jeep. According to court documents, Carr is accused of intentionally causing Isbell's death by pushing her off a cliff. Let's see. News 19 has reached out to agencies involved to learn more about Carr. Carr was connected to Isbell, or how, it doesn't say, I think it meant to put how there. Learn more about how Carr was connected to Isbell's death, and we'll update this story as more information becomes available. Yeah. Alright, so this is from yesterday. Missing woman may have been kidnapped and pushed off a cliff. This is, looks like, I don't know, IDTV crime or something. Mary Elizabeth Isbell Wright has been missing for nearly 2 years after a long investigation. Loretta Kay Carr, 43, has been arrested and charged for kidnapping and murdering her. And also thank you to Zozo out there for finding some of the Facebook profiles for these people. Thank you. Run the wild. The world. Run the world. Run the wild. Kind of like Run the Wild. Isn't that kind of cool? Run the Wild. Huh. It's kind of a cool name for something. Maybe a good mug or something? Hey, thanks, Tim Bray. It's very kind of you. What do you like the most about it, if you don't mind me asking? I got to write that down. It's actually sort of kind of cool. Yeah. Run the wild. Yeah. I want to write it on that because that's actually a good. Hey, 14 months, Aaron. Thank you. Very cool. I'm actually getting Monday. I'm going to be sending out all the notebooks that people bought. I've kind of delayed them because there's only 1 or 2 of them, but now there's 6, so I'm going to do that. But if you want to order one of the blue notebooks, they're right here. There's still, I don't know, 6 or 7 left, I think.
New to the channel and love the content. Great job. Great.
Well, thank you. Okay, so on June 25th, 2023, Loretta Kay Carr, a 43-year-old Alabama woman, was arrested and charged with the murder of Mary Elizabeth Isbell Wright. Court records reveal that she is believed to have kidnapped Wright and then killed her by pushing her off a cliff in 2021. Hey, thanks, Crime Freak. Did you name yourself after
Thumbs up,
this channel?
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
A missing person report was filed for Wright, and according to a post from Hartsville Police Department, she was last seen November 2021. Really? I thought she was killed in October. She went by Beth and was last known to live in DeKalb County. People magazine reported that Wright was 37 years old when she disappeared and was allegedly last seen driving a dark-colored Jeep. Hey, thank you so much, Betty Smith. Do we know why she kidnapped? Well, there's a rumor on Facebook that says that, maybe she was dating Loretta's boyfriend, or she was cheating on her own boyfriend and seeing Loretta's boyfriend. That's kind of the, rumor mill stuff. It's got to be something like that. I would say 99% of the time a woman kills another woman, it's because of a guy. Wouldn't you agree? Let's see.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Do we know why she kidnapped and pushed Mary Elizabeth off the cliff?
Yeah. So she, Carr was arrested by the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office and booked into DeKalb County Jail. DeKalb, I mean. She is being held there without bond. Carr's attorney argued that there isn't enough evidence to prove Carr murdered Wright. The judge granted their request for a preliminary hearing, it says healing, and scheduled it for August 21st. DCSO, along with several other law enforcement entities and emergency services personnel, are currently on the scene of an undisclosed location attempting to recover possible human remains. At this point, no other information is available. So what is this? Let's read that.
Okay, this is on the 27th again.
Deputies in DeKalb County are uncovering new details in a missing persons case from Hartselle. Investigators have connected the missing woman to possible human remains found. WAFF 48 Savannah Sapp joins us live from DeKalb County with the very latest.
Well, Nolan, over the weekend, DeKalb County deputies arrested and charged Loretta Carr with capital murder. Now, she is accused with pushing a woman off of a cliff. According to court records, that woman is Mary Elizabeth Isbell. Family members say she was reported missing to the Hartselle Police Department in October of 2021. According to the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, deputies were at an undisclosed location today to recover possible human remains in this case. The Sheriff's Office declined to give us any additional information while it awaits an official identification of the possible remains. Carr's attorneys are asking for the murder charge to be dismissed, saying there isn't enough evidence to charge her with this crime. They have filed a request for...
You know what's funny is I never heard anywhere in there where they said she didn't do it. They said, hey, listen, this isn't fair, man. There just isn't enough evidence. you know what I'm saying? There's something missing there.
Preliminary hearing, which is set for August 21st. Now, I did reach out to the Sheriff's Office for comment. They declined an interview, stating that this is still an ongoing investigation. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Savannah Sapp, 48 News on
Welcome,
your
Tim
side.
Bray. Yeah, maybe I'll get back to that one. Okay, this was the June 30th. Here's another one from, this is Daily Mail though. Alabama cops discover remains of missing mother, 38, who vanished in 2021 in National Park. And they also arrest the daughter of Loretta Carr. She's only 21 years old and charged with capital murder. Remains of Mary Elizabeth Isbell, 38, have been found by cops in Little Rock National Park. Let's see. Let's go to that park. So wow, way down there, but also in DeKalb County. No, does it say in a Little Rock? No, in Little Rock National Park. Well, where the hell is it? Yeah, man, that's stupid. Hold on. Okay, Little Rock National Park. Where is it? Six epic national parks near Little Rock. Yeah, I don't think there's one called that. That's the sad part. The remains of a mother who went missing in 2021 have been found. Mary Elizabeth Isbell, 38, was reported missing in late 2021. The disappearance sparked a 2-year-long hunt and spanned 2 police forces before cops on Sunday charged Loretta Carr, 43, with capital murder. DeKalb County Sheriff's Office on Friday confirmed that they found the remains of the missing mother who went by Beth on Wednesday in Little Rock National Park. God, so is there really a park called that? Yeah, let's just get through the stories. Okay, so this is where, so Fort Payne is where these people live anyways, near there anyways. Fort Payne, and let me try the Little Rock National
Park. Alabama. Now it's nowhere. Oh man, this is brutal right here. This is crazy. Oh man. That wasn't, none of these were supposed to go to over here. It's just, none of these are supposed to go in this folder. Will it work? Yeah, this is not good. Sorry, I gotta get this fixed or it'll be totally off. Hope you don't mind. Alright, I gotta just go down. This might take me like 5 minutes. See how that's just shooting down? Look at all those things that we've done over the years. Just flying down. There's so many of them. Yeah, do you mind if we, let's just get through it, KK, we go through the articles? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, you can even see that little bar on the right, it's barely moving. But I've got to get these back in the right place. Maybe I need to get rid of those things, whatever those are. Okay, we're moving, I see it. It's getting close. There we go. There. Whew, shit. Let's see, drinks for the freaks, round 1. All right, that's right.
Drinks for the freaks, round 1. Shiz : basic generous, tumbler glass.
So, Little Rock National Park. So how come those other parks aren't showing up anymore? God. Oh, how about parks near Fort Payne, Alabama? Okay. Douglas. I mean, those aren't really. I mean, it sort of says that there's some in there, but they don't have the same name. Little Rock Central. Little Rock National Park. It says list of national parks near Little Rock. But there isn't one called that. Maybe it's this one right here. Little Rock Central High School National Historic Site, maybe. Is it that one? No. This one said it was right near Fort Payne here. Let me try this one. Nope. Alright, well, see if we can stumble upon it a different way. Yeah, it says Little Rock, not Little River. And I don't know who they is. You know, when you say they said, I don't know what that means. Alright, so here we go. They have now revealed the arrest of Carr's daughter, Jessie Kelly, 21, on suspicion of murdering Beth. Kelly is awaiting extradition from Pennsylvania to Missouri. So she's actually in Pennsylvania, the daughter. And that's her, again, the victim. Mary Elizabeth Isbell Wright, apparently. And this is Loretta Ray Carr, the wacko psycho. 43 of Fort Payne, was charged on Sunday. Looks like she's saying, "Who, me?"
Two years after a missing North Alabama woman.
We're still working to get information about how investigators tied the suspect to the death of the victim, Mary Elizabeth Isbell. Here's what we know from a criminal complaint filed this week. The document shows Loretta Carr from Fort Payne is charged with capital murder. Jail records reveal Carr was booked into the DeKalb County Jail Sunday night. Carr is accused of abducting Isbell in October of 2021. Hartselle police and the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office reported Isbell missing a few months later in January of 2022. Investigators at the time said the 37-year-old had family in Hartselle but was last known to live in DeKalb County. According to court documents, the suspect is accused of intentionally causing Isbell's death by, quote, pushing her off of a cliff.
Yeah, so Carr is accused of abducting Beth before pushing her from a cliff on the 18th of October, 2021. The lawyer argues that there is not enough evidence to keep her locked up. We're not saying she didn't do it, but there's just not enough evidence. She's being held without bond in DeKalb County Jail, and judge was ordered preliminary hearing for August 21st. Isbell was first declared a missing person in early 2022, but her family maintained she was last seen in November of 2021. A month after the supposed murder took place, police have yet to clear up the discrepancy in reports. Carr's lawyers said there is no evidence their client killed Beth, and claimed there is no obvious link between the two women. She has been charged with capital murder, which could result in the death penalty or life in prison. The law in Alabama allows the death penalty for a defendant who planned and possessed premeditation to commit murder. DeKalb County Sheriff Nick Weldon said, "We would like to thank the Pennsylvania State Police, Corey Barracks, Huntsville Search Dog Unit, State and Alabama Aviation Unit, Jackson County Sheriff's Office, Fisher Rescue Squad, and all the volunteers who helped during the investigation. Each individual played an important role." I wonder if there's a press conference out there somewhere we could look at. We would ask that you pray for Beth's family. Hartselle PD detectives searched the home where Beth was staying on December 27th. Yeah, so they searched it, staying on this. Let's see. They make it sound, the way they word it, like she was living there on December 27th, 2021. But it's actually when they probably searched it. It says Hartselle Police Department detectives searched the home where Beth was staying on December 27, 2021. Physical evidence was recovered from the home and entered into a national database, so DNA. But no match was found at the time. A spokesman told DailyMail.com that they were unable to find any evidence of her being in Hartselle, adding, "Any tips we pass over to DeKalb, and a phone ping showed that the last time she would have been seen was in that area." On the 20th of June this year, DeKalb County investigators received information about Beth's disappearance and interviewed two people in connection with her killing. Officers discovered remains on June 28, with forensics confirming they belonged to Beth on June 30th. So that's weird, those articles we read on the 27th were just arrests made, and then they discovered the remains the next day. Beth's ex-husband, Stephen Isbell, declined to comment when contacted by DailyMail.com, but had been posting on social media asking for help looking for the mother of his son. I actually hate to put this out here on social media, but Facebook covers a wide area. Her son hasn't heard from his mom since September 6th on his birthday, and he's really worried about her because she always at least calls on the holidays, he wrote on December 27th. Now, relatives officially reported her missing in January 2022 to the Hartselle Police Department and the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. Let's see, a Facebook group seeking information about the disappearance was set up in April of 2022. I haven't found that group. Her teenage son has since posted a heartbreaking tribute to her mother, sharing a link to Carr's arrest, writing, "Love you forever, like you for always, as long as I'm living, my mommy you'll be." Isbell had been living with her boyfriend James Allen Wright in DeKalb County when she vanished from their home in Hartselle. She had previously been suspected of theft. I mean, it's so weird. She doesn't look like, she just seems like a classy, I mean, maybe I don't know what the theft thing is. It's just so weird. She had previously been suspected of theft before her disappearance from Wright's property, though it's unclear what she is alleged to have taken. Wright was arrested by her boyfriend at the time, Wright, was arrested by the sheriff's office in September of 2021 for an undisclosed crime and was released to a rehab facility in Florida in November of 2021. While he was in jail, the sheriff's office said Isbell was living where she could in DeKalb County. I think she got mixed up with some wrong people, her mother, Debbie Wood, told the local news channel last year. Authorities have previously said Isbell was last seen on November 23rd, 2021, when she visited her mother, but now I think they said October 18th. Okay, this is another Daily Mail from today. So this has more information. Chilling photos have emerged showing a woman accused of killing a mother, 38, by pushing her off a cliff, posing near the alleged Alabama murder spot. I mean, Loretta Kay Carr, 43, and her daughter, Jessie Kelly, 21, were both charged with murder on Sunday, 2 years after Mary Elizabeth Isbell, 38, went missing. Authorities searched far and wide for Isbell's body, but were unable to find any trace. This isn't her right there. 2 days after Carr and her daughter were detained, the remains of Isbell were located. So the daughter probably caved in on her mom, guarantee it. It now emerges that Carr in 2019, so even before she was murdered, shared a photo of herself by the murder spot, posing on January 19th at, now it's Little River Canyon National Preserve. So, a lot longer, right? So, go ahead and put that in there. Okay, right there. Yeah, it's crazy. I bet it's right around in this area here. Like maybe something right on the edge of these rocks right here. It's going to be some place where you could easily, like, probably drive up to here and then It looks like she's over the rail of something. Maybe like right there on that jetting out spot right there. That wouldn't shock me at all if that's the actual spot right there. I mean, there's a whole bunch of spots it could be, but when this makes sense that you pull up and then boom, you just throw her off and she goes down there. All right, guys. So let's see. Hold on, where is that? I almost can see a big rock on the side. Yeah, I bet you anything, it's right kind of near where I had that. And it's outside of DeKalb County, right? Or is it, maybe that's inside? No, that's in there. Yeah, we said that a minute ago, Betty. Did you hear that? Yeah, so I wonder if it was kind of just right there. I mean, it looks like it, but I'm trying to see if these rocks, there's a big rock right there. So I can't tell 100% because the water's not the same. It's long straightaway. If I just had a little more in that picture, I could do it. It's going straight. Look like there's a huge slab over here. How about if I can find, that's July, so that was pretty good. No, it's January. So it could be any of these, I guess, right around there. Now it's weird because that means sometimes a year you could just see her sitting there. Look how the ground has nothing in it. Alright guys, don't forget if you'd like to help support the channel, it'd be absolutely awesome. We're at 65% of the goal. It'd be great to get to it tonight. Keep on trucking for the month. This month too. Let me just kind of look at this again. All right. So I'm this is where I'm thinking it is. As if she's standing right on the edge of one of these, like that, you know. Okay. Maybe it's a little bit more like this. And is this part right there this thing? Yeah. Anyways, that's what my guess would be. Right in this area. It could be off of any of these other ones too. It could be over here, you know, this whole jagged rock section there. That's very steep. Look at that. That's how steep that is. But, I mean, if you go over here, you can actually see the height. So the water here is 1,026 feet, and up here it's 1172, so 150 feet or so down there.
Hey, thanks Eugenie for gifting a membership to Gloria 2730. Yeah. So it's the only thing, that place that has rocks that jut out like that. Right over here, see? These little... Right around in this area. That's why I think it's over here. Somewhere right in this little section right there. And look how simple this is. So you're somebody that... Oh, right. Well, look at this. Now we can get an answer. Yeah. Not the greatest 360, but... Oh, hey. Oh, shit. This is almost perfect. Oh, look at this. Is she just thrown right off there? Maybe it was just right off of there. Man, I just really feel like this is right in the right spot. I mean, she could be standing right there, maybe. But, I don't know, I think it's over here. No, we don't know, Juniper Tarot Card Magic. We don't have the autopsy report yet. I wish they just had street view, but I bet you anything she pulled into here. And then somewhere right on these rocks, she took that picture. But if you're going to dump a body, you would pull up to a place that you could drive like her. She's not going to carry a body somewhere. And then threw her off a cliff over here. You know, it could be... maybe it's not exactly the same spot where she was, but you know, it could just be in the general area. So it means that she was familiar with the area. And there's that picture again. Look at that, it's Madeline McCann. She's got the little brown spot inside of her eye there. It's weird. How old is she, Gray? Let's check. No. Hey, Daniel, let's just, come on, let's move on. Keep asking Tara Magic. She's using cards to figure things out, all right? Wow. So this is the daughter right here, and this is her there with her boy. This is Carr, the killer, with her boyfriend. And apparently, if the rumor is correct, then that means that Mary Elizabeth was seeing this guy right here. It now emerges that Carr in 2019 shared a photo of herself
by the murder spot, posing in January of 2019 at Little River Canyon National Preserve. I'm not sure how it just switches over. Day trip to Little River Canyon and Falls, she wrote, posting photos of herself with her fiancé, Robert Mitchum. Was beautiful and only a little ways from the house. Carr has been held since Sunday at the Cobb County. Let's see where the house is, because I have her house. She lives right here. That's where Loretta Carr lives, so when she says a little ways, let's see how many miles that is. Probably 10 maybe? 11.86 or about 12 miles as a crow flies, so pretty close. Carr has been held since Sunday at the Cobb County Jail in Fort Payne, Alabama. She is charged with kidnapping and capital murder, with police saying she pushed Isbell off a cliff, but Carr insists there's no evidence. Carr's attorneys are arguing the state does not have enough evidence to justify confinement or to send the case to a grand jury. Her daughter was arrested in Pennsylvania and is being extradited to Alabama. A preliminary hearing has been scheduled for August 21st. And Carr is accused of abducting Beth before pushing her off a cliff on October 18, 2021. Thank you, Aaron. It is unclear how the women knew each other. The Cobb County Sheriff Nick Weldon said, "We would like to thank the Pennsylvania State Police, etc. Each individual played an important role in bringing Beth home and holding those responsible for this horrific crime accountable." The timeline of her disappearance remains muddled. In the months leading up to her disappearance, she was suspected of a theft in DeKalb County. The sheriff's office said the theft involved an apartment she was living at with her boyfriend, James Allen Wright. James Wright was arrested by the sheriff's office in September of 2021 and released to a Florida rehab facility in November of 2021. The sheriff's office said while he was in jail, Isbell was essentially homeless, moving between friends' houses and living where she could in DeKalb County. Her mother, Debbie Wood, told a local news channel last year that Isbell became entangled with a bad crowd. That was just her opinion. I think she got mixed up with the wrong people, she said. She described Isbell's relationship with Wright as a new but troubled, says they were always getting into fights. Carr is accused of abducting Isbell and pushing her from a cliff on October 8th. So here's the thing. Somebody knows this happened. That's how they know that happened. I bet it wouldn't surprise me if Carr's daughter made a statement, because she knew, and that she's going to cut a deal. Or it's somebody else that one of them just told the story to, and now it makes sense. She was spotted the next day, November 23rd, 2021, across the street from her son's school, also in Hartselle. Isbell's ex-husband, Stephen Isbell, said on December 27, 2021, that she was missing. I actually hate to put this out here on social media, but Facebook covers a wide area, he wrote. Her son hasn't heard from his mom since September 6th. Yeah, I think we went over that one. Physical evidence was recovered from the home and entered into the national database. Yep, we already went through that. All right, so that is basically all there is there. Now, we do have their individual Facebook pages. Like here's Beth Wright's right here. Right there. There's hardly anything on her page, though. So here's her boyfriend, James, and it says and Beth, so that's her name. So I wonder if that's how she got. It's weird to me that she has the same last name as this guy, but it doesn't sound like they were married. Asking for prayer and support. Beth was bitten. Oh, look at this. Is 2021. Asking for prayer and support. Beth was bitten by a snake a few days ago. Took her to the Cobb Regional. They gave her some meds, sent her home. Well, she got worse, so I had to call an ambulance for her today. She had a fever, chills, mild paralysis. So they took her to Erlanger and treated her snake bite, and we found out some of her symptoms were coronavirus. So I got tested, and we both tested positive. We won't be able to go to the grocery store or anything for 2 weeks. So any kind of help would be appreciated. I just came in from the house a little while ago and found a giant mosquito on the side of my side. On the side of my side and my back, it was sucking away. Before anyone asks, this is not a crane fly. I have been around those all my life, and this is not one. This seems to be a mosquito. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. Let's see. So what was one of the... February 2nd. Happy birthday. Hope your day is great. How come he's not saying anything in here about his missing... Hey bro, call me. It's Dakota. I don't know. Alright guys, so I need to dance a jig. There's another one. James Wright. Bet there was no one like you. So now this is him saying something. There was no one like you. You were God's special gift to the world, and you were taken too early from us. Skeletal remains were found in Little River Canyon this week after investigators received a full confession by one of the accomplices of her murder. We're holding a celebration of life at Parkview Baptist Church in Decatur on July 10th at 6 p.m. That almost looks like it's out at that same park. Doesn't it? I mean, I don't know where the waterfall is, but... I mean, yeah, she's so pretty. It's weird the situation she was in. And this is the daughter right here. This is the one that was arrested too. Carr's daughter. Yeah, I was looking at stuff like posts that were around. You know, these are all like April. This is a few months after the murder. October 12th. This is right around. This is 6 days prior to the murder. If it's October 18th. Man, she's got so many hair colors. Poor dog. Right, but we're not talking about that case, Juniper Tarot and Magic. That's what I'm talking about. We weren't talking about that case. So it makes it confusing in the chat. So look at, here's Loretta Carr, and look at that. So apparently this is out at that same spot. Yeah, right, yeah. Well, thanks, Mama Forever. But, you know, let's get to the goal. Thank you. You guys are very kind, very kind. I think you've already made up about half of it yourself, so I appreciate it. Let me go back over there one more time. Just there's this huge slab of rock right there. At least that's what it looks like to me. So I'm just going to look for that really fast. It might just be that I can't see it. I was dancing a jig when they traded away Damian Lillard today. Thanks, Billy Juliana, the mayor. Your Gypsy. Eugenie. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. This looks like about the same amount of water here. Chewbacca!
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca if you want me to be.
No need to dance a jig, but if you want to dance a jig, go ahead.
What do I have to do? Dance a jig?
_ basic generous.
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
Ocean wave, ocean wave.
Is there any other spots in here that even remotely has a chance to do that? Hey, thanks, Simple Life Days. Let me go back. I'm going to look for some different mapping. This is just for fun here, but you can see that rock right here has been there the whole time. How about the one? No. There isn't a ton. Now, so she took that picture in January. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, so this picture here is August 2019, but that was January 2019. This is February 2018, so just a year before that picture was taken. But I think, you know, feel pretty good about that being the right spot. It's just hard to find one that. This one has the similar amount of. So this is February 2017. So the water level is about the same, but I think it's just right in there, you know, somewhere right around in this spot. Could be right there too, you know. So if that's it, and you were looking like that. See, that one just makes more sense. Right here. I wish I could just see a little bit higher, just a little more of that picture, and we'd have the right one. I just think the picture just means she's familiar with the area that she was found. That's all that means. I don't think she was planning it at that point. I think it's just, that means she's familiar with the area and in her mind thought, wow, what a great place to dump a body, and that's what she did. No, we read that one already. Dude, she's creepy though. It's like a psycho right there. So, anyways, I think we are. I want to. This is a case I really want to have the probable cause document. What do you guys think? I mean, wouldn't that just be amazing to have that document in this case? Because I think that's the. Oh, there's a picture of her right there. August 2018. Looks more normal than that one for some reason, even with the purple pink hair. So maybe this is her husband that she cheated with or something. Where's that picture? Is there falls around here somewhere? Probably nowhere around in this area. That'd be weird, huh? If that was the spot, I wouldn't be shocked at all if that's where they are right there. Look at that. See how that's like, let me see. I'll tell you what this says right here. Watch this. Right there is 1098, and this is 1107. Okay, so this right up here is 1107, and right there is 1098. So that means a 10-foot drop, and you know, I don't know if that's 10 or 15 or whatever the hell that is, but look at the rocks and everything. It looks so similar where that picture was taken. I can't tell if that's a man-made object right behind him, and if that is, then it's hard to say exactly, but I can definitely see if that was it. How far up is it? Kind of there anything jutting out on the other side? Can't see, his head's covering it. Pretty similar looking though. River Canyon. Yeah, I mean, it could be the same river. Who the hell knows? Huh? Yeah, no, I didn't see that one. I was going over this case. Oh, you're new here, everybody! Yay! Look at it! And you're about as new as that, meaning never again. Hey, thanks, Daryl Montgomery! No one said Happy Canada Day to me. I didn't know it was Happy Canada Day. How am I supposed to get... Are you going to cry? Hold on, Daryl. Hold on a second. There you go, buddy. Happy Canada Day. I forgot to say. On Canada's Day. So what is it about? What is Canada's Day? Happy Canada Day! Ding, 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 ding. You should run the world. I guess not. So what is Canada Day? Like their 4th of July or something, or what?
No one said Happy Canada Day to me. So disappointed in the freaks. How am I supposed to...
I said it, Daryl. Happy Canada Day, dude. Yeah. So you guys beat the British on July 1st? Before us? Wow. Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to be. Man, I got that down. Maybe that's what we need to do is have a contest imitating that. Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to be. Bam! Nailed it, you guys. Listen. Here it is, right here.
Chewbacca? I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
I mean, shall I say no more? That was absolute champion right there. That's right, Juniper. That's it. Yeah, anyways, that's just my best guess. Somewhere right around in this area. And she took the picture, and it sounds like there's got to be like really good information that they have on the side from interviews and so forth that point directly to that there was some sort of revenge or scorned lover type of situation. And I mean, how did the kidnapping happen though? You know, I mean, that's the part I want to know about the story. How did that happen? And how'd you get her out there and then just sort of shove her off the cliff? What a creepy picture that is. This is January 5th, 2019. December 25th, 2018. Yeah, so let me ask you this. Why are all of her posts gone? Like, there's no more Facebook after January 19th, 2019. I think that's weird. Yeah, me too, Gwendolyn B. Hopefully we can get it. I think this is an interesting one. For sure. What's a Swiftie? Are there any Swifties in the chat? What does that mean? We need full sentences over here. We don't know what that means. I don't anyways. There you go. Chewbacca?
I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
There you go. There you
Fine.
go.
Great. Thanks for covering this and looking forward to the affidavit.
Yeah, let's see. Let me see if we can find this body found in... Hey, what's the name of this? Let me put a pin down here. Right there. There we go. Oops. Little River Canyon National Preserve. Okay. I'm gonna do a filter over here. Tool, anytime. Go back to Sunday the 25th to the 28th. That was 3 days ago. 4 days ago. Body was discovered in Lake Louisville. No. 5 days ago. Families rip into club Q shooter. No. Jesus, what happened to that guy? No, doesn't work. I'd like to get a better description in there. Got to get more on this. Has to be something. I've already went back to the beginning, Cindy. I found the articles. There is a Facebook page that I haven't found yet, so. Yeah, what does that mean, the Swiftie comment up there? Anybody in here a Swiftie? Anybody know what that means? No, Cindy, there's nothing. I've already gone through it. It's just, they're not releasing that yet. I just told you, if it comes out, that'd be great. Oh, that's what a Taylor. Wow, that's what a Taylor Swift fan is known as. Wow, wow, that's weird. Those are the obsessed fans, right? The ones that are, oh, I'm Swiftie, everybody. Yeah, just sell it when I'd sell it as soon as possible. Even having those tickets is a national embarrassment. I'm just kidding. She's pretty good.
Bruce Springsteen, huh? All right, you guys want to, so now we're just going to do the Q&A about anything now again. All right, so we've got hour and 42 minutes into the show. A really interesting case here. I just don't have any more randomness. I'll keep looking around and so forth overnight and see if I can find that Facebook page when she was missing. I don't know. And maybe I'll try to get a hold of a family member or something and see what I can find. But likely they've been told by law enforcement that they can't. They don't want them to speak about it, but they likely know what the deal is. Yeah. Hey, we're almost there, you guys. Look at that. $15.24 from the goal. Okay, that's pretty close. I don't know. That's what was weird that somebody just typed in. Anybody here Swifties? We weren't really talking about it. But you're a deppy? Yeah. Yeah, I saw your comment at the end of that, Paulette. You said, "Goodbye, dear Johnny." I was like, whoa. Hopefully, he's going to be on the stand, I think, coming up here. So, tomorrow we'll be on... I know you don't, Cindy. I couldn't find it either. I told you that. Yeah, they said something about... I read that part about lit a horse on fire, but it's just somebody typing it in. That's why I don't bring it up on the shows, though. Yeah. Now, the part about dating the boyfriend sounds somewhat reasonable, but the, burning a horse, I mean, that's just... I mean, just take that with like 97 buckets of salt, okay? All right, so what do you guys think? You can ask any questions about anything. Even, you can ask about the Idaho 4, Delphi, whatever the hell you want. This one here is really interesting, but there's no information really. I don't know who you're talking to, Cindy. Are you, Cindy? Are you nuts or what? I don't know what you're... Are you sick? What? Why are you asking me if I'm sick or not? What a weird question. You plan on going... I don't know if I'm going to go this year. It's too far away. Yeah, well, there's allergies that I've explained 100 times on here. There's allergies. Are you... Yeah. Are you sick? What? No, it'll become big, and that's what always happens. See, I'm not going to do it in the sensationalistic way, so I won't get the same number of views that when the other channels finally get a hold of it. I know a couple that will. The other person that wears the headphones and the hat and all that, who they always covered a little bit later, and then, ooh, it's such a big, novel idea, it's all new. And do you own a air purifier? No. Actually, I do. It's right here. There we go. It doesn't help at all, though. I don't think that's trying to be kind. Would be like, let's see. It's Boogie, huh? Yeah, I just mentioned that I have allergies like literally every show. I am totally fine. Then when I sit here, the stuff comes out of the vents over here, and I don't know I've done everything possible. I even have a filter on top of the vent. Isn't that weird? I don't think saying "Are you sick?" it sounds kind. Sounds kind of like you're a negative. Yeah, the new one will be pretty sweet. And it's got its own air conditioning system too, so that's good. Used in Amicar and day of any year. Why do you want to know what year I graduated from college? What year did you graduate? Are you trying to get my age, or what's going on there? There was sharp forced instrument, sounds like, in the Delphi case. But I'll tell you what, if Cindy was asking to be nice, then thanks, Cindy. But it didn't sound like that in my head. Are you sick? Just out of nowhere, you know. I'm feeling totally normal. Oh yeah? Let me see it. Then put it in Facebook so I can see it. Yeah, I mean, but you know, I'm asking about like crime. Why did you tag Carla, Danielle, at the end of your statement there? Yeah, I mean, I graduated Oregon State. I've said that before. They spelled my name Gary on the diploma. Yeah, a little bit like that. Yeah, that's probably the group. Hopefully they just let you in. Let's see. And so that was Wednesday. Oh, interesting. Happy birthday, your heart breaks over, rest in peace. That's right before she was found. I'm just going to go way back in here. But that's June, way before she was even found there. So thanks Zozo. Yeah, I didn't put Wright in there. I guess that's where the problem is. I put Beth Elizabeth Isbell, and then later on it has Wright in there. I don't know how she has the last name of Wright. Have you guys figured that out? Because I thought that was her boyfriend. Goes by Beth. Or went by Beth. You know, like Carla, I know you asked the question, but I don't know. You got these trolls out here, and they, you know, they do a lot of this stuff up behind the scenes. So I'd rather, I mean, I don't mind answering personal questions, but you know, I mean, I am. Let's see. Well, here's the thing. I'll tell you. I graduated from college in 1990 on the 6-year plan. I ended up with 220 something credits, which is 40 more than you need, and almost another extra year of school. I'm sure there's another degree in there somewhere if I just start moving around the pieces and go, oh, look at that. You have a minor in this and a, so I got a degree in communications, which is ridiculous. Although I use it now, although some might say I'm not a very good communicator. But I took a lot of weird classes too, like anthropology, things like that. Interesting things. So. I don't know. I've never even seen you before run the world. How long have you been here for? But his name was Garrett. The Wandering... I mean, obviously you've been here for a while since you have my chipped face gray on there. Were you a different name before? Maybe that's where I'm confused. Yeah, I know, Danielle. I don't need your side commentary on things like that. I can see her, that she has the gray thing. Like I say, you barely ever talk. I don't need you to respond because I asked her, Danielle, not you. All right, let's see. Aaron Murphy, let's see. 42 months. 42 months. Wow. I think that's one of the longest ones, isn't it? I'm sure you became a member on the very first day, right? Gee. What are all the hundreds for? How come all those hundreds are showing up in there? No, it's not Grant, Gene Fish. He's living, Gene. That's 3.5 years. Somewhere in 2019. Oh, sorry to hear that, Renee. Turn the Debbie Collier case. But we nailed it over here, right, Dobby Smith? See, people always go, Gray, you said it wasn't suicide because of, here's the thing, everybody. In the Debbie Collier case, I said I believe it was a suicide for a ton of time until I actually spoke on the phone with the detective who told me an item was missing. Because of that, you have to go, wow, something else is at play here. But then even after he said that, every time we'd go over it, I'd go, God, this just seems like a suicide. And then finally, that's what it ends up being. He didn't tell us that they actually found the item that was missing burned in the fire there. So, you do have to change your thinking when new information comes forward. It still didn't make sense, though. I don't care if you agree with it or not, Cindy. You're incorrect. Okay. Let's see. It's ruled against you. Your opinion on it doesn't matter anymore. The law enforcement deemed it to be what it was. Yeah. I did. I believe it was a suicide right at the beginning. Well, thanks, Bama Forever. Jesus. Yeah, the freaks are awesome. They annoy the hell out of me all the time.
So glad Chasing introduced me to your channel. Freaks are awesome.
Yeah.
Basic generous.
And also in the Debbie Collier case, I did think that there were things that were weird. Like you look at the note and you wonder if there's another meaning there. But That was all before they showed video of her buying all the items that were found at the crime, whatever you want to call it, crime scene. All the items that she purchased those things. It wasn't like somebody killed her and brought her down there. I just think she was miserable in her life. It seems like. I mean, we knew that she wasn't even sleeping in the same room with her husband. He didn't even, say goodbye to her in the morning. Things like that. It was pretty obvious. No, they won't, Cindy. They won't be changing their mind. And if they do, it's just to appease somebody. They'll just come up with the same answer. Yeah. Everybody spent so much time on the Venmo message. I left the key in the blue flower pot by the door. Yeah. Love you. What did it say? Love you? They're not gonna. Yeah. Love you. They're not gonna let me go. Love you. The keys in the blue flower pot by the door. So it could be that maybe we don't know, but maybe she was supposed to go to work. Told him she had to go to work, and then her daughter asked her to go somewhere, and she said, no, they're not gonna let me go. Love you. And by the way, the keys in the blue flower pot by the door. Okay, great. It just doesn't. If you just get rid of it, because it caused so much confusion, and you see this lady who, just. I don't know. The first report said that she was a little bit depressed. You remember the very first report? It said something like, did she have mental problems or something? Because they thought originally it was a suicide, the cops. Then they changed it because there was an item missing from the scene. And then later, oh shit, they found that item. People just want it to be something else, so it makes it more interesting. And yeah, well, and you could tell. Remember how his story is that when he got up in the morning to go to work, he saw that the car was still in the driveway. Well, how about you say, good morning or something to your wife? They weren't even in the same room, so at that point you realize it's not really fun living at home, and then you got a daughter who is messed up in some just bunch of crap, and a son that I guess she wasn't really getting along with. It just shit happens. It's a crazy way to do it, but I think what she was trying to do was take drugs, right? Because it turns out there was drugs in her system, and I think she was going to just sort of light herself on fire as she passed out or something. And why she wanted to do that, I have no idea. Or she was going to create something where she inhales smoke and dies of carbon monoxide poisoning, or some sort of something like that, and it got out of control and set her parka on fire. Ron Logan. 4 months. All right, Renee H. Very cool. Hey, by the way, how you feeling, Cindy? Are you is your hip I mean, you're up and about. You seem like you're handling a little bit better than Lillian's hip. I mean, does it feel good walking around and stuff, or? I think you give other hip replaced people some hope. It is strange how every time I sit here, my nose gets like that. I've never really figured it out. Like, what is it? You do, Renee, even off all the times we've argued? I know, but I've got a filter on top of the air duct. So how is that even it?
God, I just can't wait. I got another month and a half, and it's going to be boom. That part of the house is probably going to be better than any part of this house, the regular house. It's weird. That's true. Yeah, we're not. Nobody's faking here. But I think the one thing that's really cool is just how much awesome, the things that we've been doing. And when we get the Addison County Doe case solved, that one, and there's another one coming up, a murder case where we're paying for the identification of the female, and then that might lead to an arrest or something like that. We don't know. But the Addison County one, that's the Holy Grail. 1934. A woman. Let me see if I can find that somewhere. In a folder. Might take a minute. Yeah. Here's the thing. In the Debbie Collier case, it really feels like it was a suicide to me the whole time. However, if they change it at some point to something, it won't be a shock or anything. It's just the information available right now. That's what it points to, because she bought those items. But it wouldn't be like, oh my God, because I can see how it is weird. So if you can explain the weirdness to me in a way that's nefarious, then I'll... but there's nothing points to anybody. I don't know, it's just a wood door as a desk, so I don't know. Maybe we can look it up in a minute. See if I can find it again. It's a pretty interesting one. Well, maybe she knew that her mom didn't like them or something. I don't know. I don't know. You're still following that thing? Jesus. Dash cam from when the officer said he car parked here in Debbie Collier's case. Huh? He just drove by. I don't know. The daughter did sort of bother me, but not as much as it bothered a lot of you guys, because it's always fun to pick on sort of somebody that is like her, with drug problems and things. All right, hey, I found the Addison County Doe. You guys want to take a look at this? This is one of the ones that we've been trying to do for a long time. So here we go. So here we got back in 1935 in Vermont. So this is slaying of man, 2 women revealed, but it wasn't. It was a mom and a son that was larger, and a daughter. Here, let me see if I can find it where I did this. Yeah, there it is. Addison County Doe. Middlebury Bristol Road. Way out here in Vermont. Right in this area. That's Middlebury Bristol Road. Okay. So let's see. This is one we've been trying to get the DNA extracted for like 2 years now or something. 3 badly decomposed bodies are found near Wood Road with 2 bullet holes in each head. Trio remains had been tightly bound in army duffel bag. Woman picking flowers stumbled over skull. No effort made to conceal or cover bodies. Few clues. Sheriff Ralph H. Sweet today announced that 3 badly decomposed bodies found near a lonely byway here yesterday with bullet holes in the head apparently were those of a man and 2 women, and that their remains had been tightly bound in an army duffel bag after they had been slain. Sweet said a preliminary examination of the bodies by Dr. L.S. Walker indicated one body was that of a large man and another that of a large woman. The third body, he said, apparently was that of a 17 or 18-year-old girl. I think the other one was an actual guy, though. Huh? Wait, what? Are you guys even paying attention to this, or are we on to what KK is talking about? Yeah. I'll just pause until you guys are ready to get on to something else. Yeah. So anyways, right here it says, dental work which Sweet said he hoped would lead to a solution of the crimes was found on 2 of the bodies. Bridge work had been done on the teeth of the man, and gold fillings were found in the teeth of the woman. But the man is actually a child, turns out. Fabric found near where the bodies were located, along with articles, led the sheriffs to believe he said that the bodies had been tightly bound in an army duffel bag after the trio had been slain. He said a decayed blanket, possibly an army or horse blanket, 4 small block pulleys, and eyelets, sometimes used on duffel bags, were found near the bodies. A theory the bodies were nude when dumped by the roadside was discounted by Sweet, who said that among the articles found was a piece of silk fabric. He said that indicated that at least one of the victims wore some clothing, although the bodies, no doubt, had been bound in canvas before they were dumped at the roadside. In addition, so that means these people were executed, 2 bullets to each head, and wrapped up in duffel bags and then dumped. In addition to other articles found, a piece of green canvas also was picked up near the place where the bodies were, where the bodies, nothing more than skeletons, were found. And it said, and this is 1935, and it says that they were likely killed a year and a half prior, so that would make it 1933. Sweet expressed the opinion the trio was slain more than a year and a half ago, and that the bodies had lain in the brush for that period, although he had a report indicating the remains might have been there longer. Fred Munson of Middlebury reported that while hunting in the vicinity about 3 years ago, he had observed what he thought was the remains of a dead animal near the point where the bodies were located. He said he now believed it was one of the bodies or possibly a sack holding the three he had seen. How interesting. Each of the skulls bore 2 bullet holes, one a physician reported where a bullet entered and another where it emerged. Okay, so each one was shot and it was through and through. The bodies were found late yesterday by Mr. Dang and her daughter by a previous marriage, Miss Perry, as they roamed through the woods picking spring flowers. One of the women, Sheriff Ralph Sweet said, kicked what she thought was a stone. It was a human skull. Could you imagine? You're just kind of like la 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 la, and you're kicking rocks, and one of them's a skull of somebody. Yeah. Huh? Well, Nikki, just get a hold of her on the outside, okay? I mean, you keep talking about it over and over again. It's like weird. You're obsessed or something. I don't understand it. So what are these? All these are people actually pressing these flowers stuff over on the side? Smiley faces and yeah. It's like, what? That's so weird. Or are those just there to let you know that the button's there? No, you keep commenting about it. It's like a long time after that, Nikki. I'm sure she'd be really happy to talk to you about it. I mean, we were talking about the case a few minutes ago, but I'm trying to get you caught up on this case right here, because this is one of the ones that we're spending, thousands and thousands of dollars on to try to get identified. Wouldn't that be awesome? Yeah. I mean, I don't mind you guys talking about random shit, but other cases it's a little weird because we're onto something, So anyways, there is no habitation within a half mile of the place where they were found, and the road is seldom traveled except by woodcutters. They were grouped in a space. Okay, heard it. Let me see. The bodies lay at the side of the little-used Middlebury Bristol Road. So is that what this is? Middlebury. That says Munson Road. And that's Burnham. Let me see. Okay, one of the women, Sheriff Ralph Sweet said, kicked what she thought was a stone. It was a human skull. The bodies lay at the side of... Oh, man, if you keep explaining, it's going to cause you problems, Nikki. I'm in a great mood, KK. I'm talking about a different case, though. Okay. I don't have nobody has anything out for you, KK. Okay, not a soul. I'm always interested in your comments, but we've moved on to a different case. Okay. I have no problem with you. You always take everything way too personally. Ding 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 ding. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't wrap your head around it? No, I'm actually in a great mood. Run the world. So that's what I was wondering who you were when you came in here. Never seen you before. Let's see. I'll do the genealogy for you again, Zaza. No, I mean I can explain it to you. Yeah. It's really simple. You know, I mean, them doing it isn't that simple, but it's just, those sites like 23andMe and Ancestry.com. They put your genes in there, your genetic information, and it finds your relatives based on your genetics. Does that make sense to you? Just that part? I'm just asking. I'm asking a question now. Just that simple concept right there. Yeah, I'm asking Zozo. Because you spit into a vial, you send it off, and they extract your DNA from it, and they upload it to their system. It's just that. I mean, you don't need to know the technical reason, like, oh, okay, yeah, they use this synthesizer and put it into a different format, and then they load it over here, and they do this, and all these different things, right? Yeah, it is pretty easy, actually. It's just... so anyways... Well, that's stuff you learn when you're in biology classes, They extract the DNA, they spin stuff around, and then it creates these, it's just... Who cares? I mean, that part doesn't matter in the story. Your comment above was, how do they do the genealogy part? Not how do they extract the DNA. I mean, scientists know how to do that. So they extract your DNA sequence, right? Ah, Jesus. Interesting. Give me a break. Okay, anyways, let me get to this part here. I'm just going to move back over to this. I was going to give it a shot, but we've already switched what the question was. They were shot elsewhere. Sheriff Sweet believed the victims had been shot elsewhere and their bodies brought to the secluded by road. I think I might have skipped part of it here. Yeah. It's really simple if you just let somebody explain it instead of having alternate questions that don't really... I don't know how they actually take a blood sample and extract a DNA sample from it. Nobody does. I mean, lay people don't know how they do it. What I'm trying to explain is when you get a sequence, normally you would upload you'd spit into a vial. Just try to pay attention here. You'd spit into a vial, and you keep spitting in there until you fill it up. Then you send it off to 23andMe or Ancestry.com. Then they take from your spit, they get your DNA sequence, upload it to their website, and there you go. It tells you who some of your relatives might be, okay? However, when in the Jane and John Doe or criminal world, somebody extracts, they get a sample of DNA, they get the sequence of it, but they don't have a way to upload it to Ancestry or 23andMe because it's not spit. That's how they do it there. It's just a sequence that they have. So they were able to get the sequence out of the DNA. So there's this software program called bioinformatics, okay? Bioinformatics takes a DNA sequence and formats it exactly the same way that 23andMe and Ancestry.com do when you export your raw data using, you can send it out as a zip file. So from 23andMe and Ancestry, you can export your raw data as a zip file. Everybody knows what a zip file is. Then you take your zip file and you can upload the zip file to GEDmatch or Family Tree DNA, and on those programs, they're publicly available programs or websites, it'll tell you who are your closest matches in their system. And they give you email addresses and so forth, and you can look those up. You try to find people. You can even email them and ask, who they are, and you can get information and then do more research and start building out a tree. See? That's how you do it. That's exactly how you do it. You build out a tree and you use various websites. A lot of people use Ancestry.com for the generic
tree, you start building it on there, even though you're getting your information from family tree DNA or GEDmatch. Oh, Jesus. Okay, never mind. Microscope. Let's see. They were grouped in a space about 8 feet square. That's where these bodies were. Yeah, it's all microscopic. What do you mean? It's just a software. It's just you're exporting the raw data. We don't ever get to look at it. DNA is tiny. It's like inside of a cell. It's little. They figured out ways to extract DNA a long time ago. Huh? What was a good question? I mean, don't get caught up on how they're extracting the DNA. That has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. It's irrelevant, okay? They just know how to do it. They've been doing it for decades now. So they know how to extract DNA from cells. Hey, Run the World, I don't need your little side comment, okay? I don't know what your deal is tonight, but you're strange. So you're not so much either. I think you're almost like a closet troll or something. Not sure what you're doing. And nobody was even talking to you right there. All of a sudden, I'm not a good guy because she thinks I'm grumpy now. Who cares? God. And I've become grumpy based on the chat. Now, about 5 minutes ago, I was feeling pretty good. You know, even though you accused me of not being that way, I'm exactly the same way as I always am. Yeah, so in criminal cases, there might be semen found. Somebody in law enforcement extracts the DNA from the semen. Does everybody understand? Like, that's just so easy for them to do now. They extract the DNA sequence. They don't know who this person is. The first thing that law enforcement does is they upload the sequence to CODIS, you know, in the way they do it. There's 20 markers. And they see if there's any matches in there, even familial matches. And if there isn't, then they need to do forensic genetic genealogy, where they take the sequence, format it using the program bioinformatics, format it so it resembles exactly what the raw data file would look like if you exported it from 23andMe and Ancestry.com. Then you take that file and you upload it to GEDmatch and Family Tree DNA. That's exactly how you. I mean, that's just how you do it. And normally, in an adoption program, people will upload to. Let's say you're somebody that you know you've been adopted. Man, I'm having a hard time saying adopted. Say adopted 5 times quick. I can't even do it twice. So let's say somebody was adopted, right? That means, you know, you're able to spit into a container, right? And you send it off to, let's say you send it off to Ancestry.com, and it doesn't really give you a lot of matches. So that very same person, a genealogist who's helping the adopted person, would say, hey, what we need you to do is download your raw kit for me and upload it to GEDmatch and say that it can be used for law enforcement use as well, right? Then they go in there, and once it's uploaded, they see the highest matches that show up in there based on centimorgans. And it tells you, like, okay, this person is 300 centimorgans. That'd probably be like a second cousin or something. And then you can look that person up and you start building out the trees, and you try to find where the both sides of the family are represented. That part's where it's hard for me. Like, it just gets really complex, but the genealogists know how to put it together, and it works, you know.
and they ended up narrowing it down to a specific mother and father and their children, and then they start doing research on the children and then find the one that seems to match what's going on. Does that make sense? Yeah. Hopefully. I think I explained that pretty well. But you gotta, it'd be really cool is if I could get through this. This is one of our cases. That's what I was trying to get through. Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to be able to do this one. Yeah. So let me get back up to, I'm going to start up here again. The bodies lay at the side of the little-used Middlebury Bristol Road, which leads through the hills at a spot about 5 miles from Middlebury Center. They were grouped in a space about 8 feet square, and apparently no effort had been made to conceal them. The winds of many months had covered covered item with a scattering of pine needles. It's kind of cut off at the end there. Scattering of pine needles. There is no habitation within a half mile of the place where they were found, and the road is seldom traveled except by woodcutters. Sheriff Sweet believed the victims had been shot elsewhere and their bodies brought to the secluded road. So all 3 bodies had gunshot wound, enter holes and exit holes in their head. Police of northern New England today searched through dusty, months-old files of missing persons to trace out a possible identity as authorities returned to the spot where the bodies were found to sift the pine needles that carpeted the woods for clues. Dr. L.S. Walker, Middlebury physician, was called by Sheriff Sweet to examine the bodies. State Detective Almo B. Franzoni was on his way here from Montpelier or something like that, and Dr. C.F. Whitney, stated pathologist, was expected here during the day to assist in the investigation. Alright, so that's that one. Then that was on the 16th of May, 1935. And this one, mystery of 3 skeletons grows denser. There it is. Few clues. Hank of hair, bits of silk dress, awning, a blanket among objects found in shallow graves. Attempt will be made to reconstruct the skeletons and trace dental work in 2 of the skulls. A triple murder mystery so baffling that it probably will never be solved faced Vermont law enforcement officers tonight after a full day's investigation of the macabre case, which has electrified central Vermont, involving the discovery yesterday of 3 skeletons, each with a bullet hole in the head. Few clues, none apparently of great importance, rewarded officers for their day's efforts. A few hanks of matted hair, a small piece of woman's dress silk, badly disintegrated remnants of a black and buff striped awning, small pulley blocks, the corner of a woolen blanket, the snap from an automobile side curtain, numerous. How come they're not mentioning the bags that they were found in? A few banks of matted hair, small piece of woman's dress silk, badly disintegrated remnants of a black and buff striped awning, small pulleys. It's almost like they were wrapped up in the awning. The corner of a woolen blanket. What was the thing that they called it a gunny sack or something? What was the first one? Hold on. You gotta find that now. Look at that crazy, tiny little article. An army duffel bag. Tightly bound in an army duffel bag. I wonder why it's so different. Let's see. An attempt to set the approximate date of the grisly crime resulted in the conclusion that the 3 bodies had lain in their woodland grave at least 3 years. This was deduced from statements of natives regarding an offensive odor prominent in the fall of 1932. So apparently this could even be 3 years old. Officers believe their greatest hope of identifying the skeletons hangs upon the dental bridgework in one skull and a number of gold fillings in another. In their efforts to evolve some sort of theory from the bones, the officers late this afternoon carried them to the State Board of Health Laboratory in Burlington, where Assistant State Pathologist F.S. Kent will try to reconstruct the skeletons, determine the sex of the approximate age of the victims, and if possible, reach a conclusion as to the approximate date of their death. The triple murder is the most bizarre crime in state history. Officers face a complete lack of motive for the crime. They have little or no chance of identifying the victims. There is practically no basis for any theory of the crime. However, state detectives all know, I'm not going to say their names, they're crazy. Officers who have the investigation in charge have made some general conclusions. They believe that the 3 persons were murdered in an identical manner. And here's page 2 here. By a single shot through the temple of each. Wow, so right from on the side of the head on all 3 of them. Yeah, there was one about a dentist or something. Yeah, we went over that before. That the murders were committed outside the state and the bodies brought to East Middlebury. That the skeletons are of a man and 2 women, or possibly a man and a woman and a child. Skeletons are a man and 2 women. Yeah, it's so weird because it's actually the other person's a child too. So it must be a big son. Aside from these generalizations, the probers have put vague theories, and there are many theories as there are investigators and spectators. Not all are plausible. However, the investigation will continue tomorrow with the further questioning of the few scattered natives of the section where the skeletons were found. Meanwhile, Dr. Kent will begin laborious task. This is like 90 years ago. Isn't that crazy? His job will take several days. Officers do not expect a complete report from the pathologist for about a week and a half. At daybreak this morning, the officers began the minute examination of the spot where the skeletons were found yesterday afternoon by Mrs. Fred A. Dagg and her 15-year-old daughter of a previous marriage. Who cares? The people you're going to get that detailed about the people who found? I just told you what it was, Danielle. I just told you what the story was. They think it might be a dentist. When state detectives Franzoni arrived from Montepeller about 10 o'clock, he joined the searchers who employed short sticks in pulling apart the litter which covered the spot where the skeletons were found. They turned over the twigs and moss. Bit by bit, they found many tiny bones. Later, they found pieces of canvas of similar weight to that used for ordinary house awnings. Portions of this, hold on a second. Portions of this, which were too badly molded, showed stripes in contrasting colors of black and buff. They also found 2 sets of small pulley blocks
with bits of rope such as are used to raise and lower porch awnings. Oh, man. Yeah. An odd find was a small portion of leatherette substance with a metal clip, the sort which is used to fasten side curtains onto open touring cars. A piece of silk cloth found deep in the mold was accepted as being a part of a woman's garment. This, the officers concluded, was the only evidence of clothing which could be found. Poking about beneath a pile of leaves, the probers found a piece of heavy woolen blanket about 2.5 feet long and about 1.5 feet wide. Sounds like a scarf. It was an army drab color and had a broad stripe across it near the hem. It had disintegrated to such a degree that it fell apart. Isn't that crazy? They give you all this date information, even back then. I mean, especially back then, that's when they did it. They never give you this kind of stuff today, though. Yeah, well, that's what I have. The absence of any buckles, but tons of snap shoes, eyelets, or remnants of heels gave the authorities basis for their theory that the victims had been nude. The investigators point to the absence of such articles to further substantiate their theory that these three were killed elsewhere. A bunch of feathers found matted beneath one of the skulls is a puzzling angle which developed during the day's inquiry. It was suggested that the pillow might have been discarded because it was bloodstained. However, the officers doubted that the merciless killers would wipe out 3 persons apparently in a single stroke, would have the kindness to provide a pillow for one of the victims. Bullet may aid search. State attorneys Conley is holding lead from one of the death bullets, lead, which was found inside one of the skulls when it was picked up last night. This lead is jacketed in copper and appears to be of a .32 caliber. A copper jacket on a bullet of this caliber, and this is a pretty long article here. Caliber is not commonly used, and officers feel that the bit of evidence might prove to be some value in their almost hopeless search for the slayer or slayers. The spot where the skeletons were found is on a wood road on the land of Luther Roscoe of New Haven. Roscoe was among those present during the investigation today. He said he knew nothing of the finding of the skeletons until he said this morning in this morning's newspapers. Roscoe declared that 4 years ago this month he sold some oak logs to Francis west of Salisbury. At the time he was drawing the logs out of the woods, the road was extremely poor condition, and it was necessary to widen it at the point where the skeletons were found. He said he did not remember seeing any pile of rubbish, boughs, or pine needles at the spot where the bones were discovered. Roscoe also told the officers that a few years ago he hauled logs down the road, and when he reached the spot where the skeletons were found, he was forced to lighten his load. He threw off a number of logs, some of which can still be seen about 3 feet from the impromptu grave of the murdered trio. Well, see, we're in that reading mode where it's just wah, 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 wah. Let's see. Okay, so Mrs. Daig said this morning that she and her daughter had gone into the mountains east of their home for May flowers, particularly trawling arbutus or something like that. She said they found a considerable quantity and started for home. As they walked along, they
scraped their feet through the forest, covering of leaves, and litter searching for arbutus. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but it was while they were walking along, thus she kicked what she at first believed was a stone. However, the blow caused a hollow mound or sound, I guess is what it says, and bending down to see what she had disturbed, she was horrified to find herself peering into the empty skull of a human being. Her scream of alarm brought her daughter to her side. Together they gazed at the skull, and they saw what appeared to be 2 more skulls. However, they were so frightened that they fled down the lonely road through the woods to their home without further investigation. Mrs. Daig told her husband, but he discredited the story. However, when she insisted that she had found human skeletons, so I remember this story. Her husband didn't believe her. He went to a neighbor's home and telephoned Sheriff Sweet. The sheriff called Dr. L.S. Walker, a Middlebury physician, and with State's Attorney Conley went to the spot indicated by the woman. The officers and physician gathered up what bones they could find in the semi-darkness and made their way back to the village. Cursory examination revealed that each of the skulls had a bullet hole beginning in the forehead and extending through the back. I thought it was they were shot in the temple. That's not the forehead. Miss Perry, who spent the day today visiting friends in East Middlebury School, said she was frightened when she first saw the skull, but was much more frightened when she got home and thought about the nearness of the spot to her home and for how long the skeletons had been hidden there. Every single person in this article isn't alive today, Dr. Walker was reticent about discussing the skulls, but expressed the opinion that one was that of a man, probably a large man, and the other 2 were those of a young woman, about 20 years old. He declared that he was unable to tell how long the bones had been hidden in the woods. The physician described the procedure to be taken by the state pathologist, saying that an attempt would be made to assemble the 3 skeletons so that the idea of their size and sex would be determined, or could be determined. He said that charts would be prepared of the dental work found in 2 of the skulls, and if dental work is discovered in the teeth of the other skull, it too will be charted. Theories of the crime are many. State Attorney Conley believes that some New York crime gang may have played a part in unceremoniously dumping the bodies on the lonely wood road. He bases his opinion on the fact that that for many years during Prohibition, the back road through East Middlebury was used by bootleggers and rum runners as a route from Canada to New York. The spot where the skeletons were found is about 3/4 of a mile off the road, off that route. So I think that's what this, the route might be this 116 right here. And then, let's see. Yeah, it says 1/4 of a mile. So it's like right in this area right here. But found a long time ago. I mean, this only goes back to 1985, so it was 50 years before that. There was also presented the theory. The prosecutor thinks that. State detectives Franconi throughout the day considered a number of theories. When the probers found a large number of tiny bones in the litter, he thought that they might have been those of a newborn baby and that the case was a family affair. There was also presented the theory that the slain persons had been victims of the gangland war and had been taken for a ride. This theory was connected with the possibility that the Providence, Rhode Island gang might have been involved in the case. This theory was suggested because of the finding of bones in the mansion at Providence need as a headquarters of the gang. Ah, man. Sorry, used as a headquarters. That's right. So there's that one. And then 4 days later, there's another article. Yeah, then there's one more we could take a look at here. It's one of the theories that somebody had. The following technical description of the tooth-straightened appliance found on the upper and lower jaws of one of 3 skeletons in Vermont triple murder mystery is printed in full by the Globe because investigating authorities believe it may prove the vital clue to an identification of the murder victims. The description was written yesterday by Dr. Alfred P. Rogers, a recognized expert in orthodontic work, after he had spent nearly all day in his laboratory working with X-ray apparatus, microscope, and micrometer examining the 3 skulls of the victims, which had been brought to him by Vermont State Attorney John P. Conley. According to Dr. Rogers, this technical description would carry as much identifying information to the dentist who did the job as the right fingerprint. But see, even with that information, they were never able to find it. So some people thought that the suspect might have been an actual dentist who killed his family and then got rid of these really specific dental records. Description as released last night at Boston Police Headquarters, Inspector John Dorsey follows. The older child, the one with orthodontic appliance in place, was between 12 and 14 years of age, probably around 13. Condition of teeth found to be excellent. They are of exceptional good quality, showing no evidence of caries. Cavities, maybe, is what they meant. I don't know. Anyways, the maxillary arch form corresponds very nearly to the Holly chart 36, the 6 anterior teeth following exactly on the line, while the bicuspids and molars are about 2 millimeters to the lingual. Therefore, the maxillary arch might be considered about normal for this type of child. So if Mag was here, she'd know exactly what we were talking about. About normal for this type of child who was probably of slender stature. The second molars were on the point of erupting, but the left second molar shows evidence of some delay. Wisdom teeth were in the process of development. Maxillary central incisors measured 36 to 100 inch in diameter. Child was being treated for bilateral dysocclusion with a slight narrowing of the mandibular arch. Mandibular incisors were somewhat protruded. The mandibular right second molar had erupted to the point where the mesial cusp had just penetrated the over. I mean, isn't it incredible they have this detail in an article? It's crazy, right? The mandibular right second molar had erupted to the point where the mesial cusp had just penetrated the overlying tissue. The mandibular left second molar had erupted somewhat further than the right. The mandibular bicuspids and molars were not in need of rotation, as is very frequently found in young children of that age. They have well-developed cusps with deep, sulci, I guess. Operator, impending maxillary arch were pins towards the medium, the slight chips, which is broken from the maxillary left central incisors. This operator, what else? I mean, we don't need to go through all this. Let's see, the lingual rhyme. The tragedy may not have happened as long ago as is supposed. Orthodontists who may be eliminated from studying their lists are those who make use of removal appliances in the treatment of this type of case. Oh, I didn't even know they had them back then. and those who employ loops anterior to the first molars in their lingual arches. Man. Oh yeah, what's this one here? Authorities investigating the East Mountain triple murder today studied clues to 2 missing families in the hope of establishing identities of the victim. One of the families, police said, was from Springfield, Massachusetts, and the other from Village. I'm not sure what that. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Missing families. Closer examination of the clues involving the missing are believed to be those of a woman and 2 children. There we go. East Mountain victims. Boston dentist may be slayer. See, here's... I can't remember what year this is from, but it says... Possibility that the victims of the Middlebury, Vermont triple murder may have been members of the family of a Boston dentist who killed them himself and then destroyed his dental records, was studied by investigators today. The suggestion was offered by former President Dr. Charles A. Spahn of New York Society of Orthodontists, who said it was highly significant to him that the dentist who did bridge work on the mouths of the victims has failed to come forward and aid investigators. I mean, you would think with such a perfect description that was in the paper. After examining the skulls of the victims for an hour in special booth at the 22nd annual convention of the Northeastern Dental Society Incorporated, Dr. Spahn said he believed that mouth shapes and fine tooth structures indicated the victims were of Jewish extraction, he thought. He hinted the work may have been done in Boston because it is the nearest large city to the scene where the skeletal remains were found several weeks ago, but pointed out the type of work could have been done in any other section of the country. The skeletons were discovered near Middlebury on May 15th. So this article is from 1931, before it. Let me just see why I may have put this in here. The David Lee family of 5 of 145 Carr Street, which mysteriously disappeared the night of December 12th, is not at the bottom of an old Maynard quarry at East Longmeadow, as many have believed. That the shell-shocked veteran did not drive his Strut sedan over the quarry cliff to death was definitely established yesterday at the instance. Okay, Wallace spent more than 18 minutes in the icy water taking the driver down. I don't know what... I don't remember why this article's in there. I can't tell you. Might have been... I mean, it's another missing family, I guess. Oh yeah, what was this one? David Lee and son Gordon were in Middlebury this week to attend the funeral of a relative. So I think somebody was trying to do something with that. Oh yeah, let's see what this says. Alright you guys, so if you'd like to help support the channel on this last stretch here, I know we're right there, but I've been reading for a while, so I just went... On May 15th, 1935, the remains of a woman and her 2 children were discovered on the side of what was described in newspapers across the country as a lonely road leading from Middlebury to Bristol. Each skull was clearly punctured with a bullet, and the remains at that point slightly exposed were wrapped in canvas sacks, with one skull resting on what appeared to be a rotted pillow. On that day, Inez Daig, during a walk with their mother, kicked what she thought was a white stone in a bed of leaves, only to uncover, to her horror... I mean, that's easy to look that up, what the date the Great Depression was, right? Only to uncover, to her horror, a skull. As news of the findings spread through town, residents Fred Munson came forward. While hunting in the same area in 1932, he said that he came across remains but thought they were of a dead animal. Lacking a centralized state police department, state investigators Almo Franzoni, along with assistant state pathologist, but I think it was, after. I think this was after the Depression. He said that he came across remains but thought they were of a dead animal. Lacking a centralized state police department, state investigators Almo Franzoni, along with assistant state pathologist. Let's just go down here. Unfinished bridge work in the jaw of the oldest child, which included a gold band that encircled the entire set of teeth. 1945. There was no depression after World War II, I can tell you that. Encircled the entire set of teeth that was estimated to cost between $1,000 and $2,000, caused Franzoni to theorize that the victims were summer residents of Vermont. On May 23, 1935, the Adirondack Record in Elizabethtown Post reports that this speculation was likely due to Francis West's October 1933 account of seeing a man with a New York automobile acting suspicious near the spot where the skeletons were found. Yet, for almost 3 years, and despite a nationwide search largely relying on dental records of the 3 skeletons and lists of missing persons, the identities of mother and children remain unknown. Isn't this sweet, though? We're doing this one. Oh, come on, Bama Forever. You're just too kind. Yes, KK, the Depression was 2020. And you know why? Guess what happened in 2020? Well, the guy that stumbles around. Then in the January 6, 1938 issue of Harvard Crimson, Harvard anthropologists described how they helped Vermont authorities make a huge break in the case. At Harvard Peabody Museum, where the skeletons were sent in 1935, the ages of the victims were estimated as 43, 14, and 12. So that's the mother and 2 children. Based on their lung bones and skulls, categorized as Armenian types, I guess. Harvard anthropologists also noted that the mother had a number of fillings, but see, they must have been a somewhat well-to-do family if there's got all this dental work going on, right? I mean, that's the reality. Harvard anthropologists also noted that the mother had a number of fillings and both children had braces, thus confirming earlier dental reports. Locally, authorities began to connect the skeletons to Mrs. Cora Maxwell Golden of Milton, who, along with her 2 children, Charles E. Golden Jr. and Beulah Golden, mysteriously disappeared from their home in Milton in 1923. Well, that's way before that, though. Franzoni, however, still had his doubts. The Goldens, according to one newspaper account, were in poor circumstances. Hey, don't leave Bama Forever hanging up there, everybody. See, it says reading wave. Please and thank you. All right, so don't leave her hanging up there, you guys. Franzoni, however, still had his doubts. The Goldens, according to one newspaper account, were in poor circumstances. Therefore, they could not have afforded the dentistry work described by the Harvard anthropologists, unless, of course, Miss Golden's lifestyle had changed dramatically after leaving Milton. Also those who knew Mrs. Golden, including her husband, who was interviewed by Franzoni shortly before he died in 1937, stated that Mrs. Golden was not of Armenian descent. Well, how would you know what descent somebody was by that? That's stupid. In an odd twist, Inez Dagg's mother recounted that she attended grade school with Cora Golden while living in Westford. In April 1938, the connection between the East Middlebury slangs and at least Beulah Golden was cracked. Newspaper accounts indicated that Franzoni... Well, thanks for trying there, Bama Forever. I appreciate it. Franzoni alive and attended high school, but refused to state her whereabouts, only noting that she was turned over to a private family in 1928. Franzoni did claim he was able to trace Cora Golden and two sons, Charles Jr. and a second son, Francis, reportedly born in 1924 in Montpelier or something like that, to Harvard, Connecticut. They were with Joseph Carter, a railroad section hand from Milton, who also disappeared in 1923, yet Franzoni said no one has seen them since 1929. Newspaper articulate the events as they happened based on witness accounts, but records in the Vermont State Archives and elsewhere may provide greater clues to this Vermont mystery. Hey, thanks, Renee H. Somebody joined the wave. Thank you. The 1930 United States Census, for example, shows that Beulah was in 4th year of high school, born to parents originally from Utah, but also working as a live-in maid for the McFarland family. This is getting really, like, you need a flow chart now. Let's see. Newspapers articulate the events as they happen based on witness accounts, but records in the Vermont State Archives and elsewhere may provide greater clues to this Vermont mystery. The 1930 United States Census, for example, shows that Beulah was in 4th year of high school, born to parents originally from Utah, but also working as a live-in maid for the McFarland family in New Haven, Connecticut. In the 1930 census, where Beulah was approximately 10 years of age, it was recorded that her father was born in Vermont, but her mother was born in Colorado, born in Edward Golden and Cora Mapfield Golden. On July 4th, 1919, her Vermont birth records tells a very different story, as do the birth certificates for Charles Edward Golden Jr. and Francis Joseph Carter, the latter born to an Elizabeth Cora LaFlash and Joseph Napoleon Carter. I mean, this is getting like... Today, the case remains unsolved, and on September 29, 2014, the Vermont Department of Health quietly registered death certificates for all 3 victims, unknown, as a result of most fields including name, date of birth, birthplace, date of death, marital status, and residence. The date pronounced dead is May 15, 1935, and the place of death is described as a logging road near Case Street. Case Street? Let's see where that is. Okay, Case Street. Yeah, there you go. So this Highway 116 is Case Street. And then it's up there. Is there something more in the records that can shed a light as to the many twists and turns of the case, as well as the entities of the 3 victims? In honor of Vermont Archives Month, the Vermont State Archives and Record Administration is taking on this challenge, and we invite you to join us. If you have something in your records that may provide clues, please share. So that's one of the ones that we're doing. Oh, is this another? Let's see. What year is this article? 1935, I think. Mill plant. Huh, I don't know why I have this. I can't. Oh, there it is right there. Middlebury, Vermont. Authorities investigating the East Mountain triple murder today studied clues of 2 missing families. One of the families... we already did this one. Okay. That was just the original article. What about this one? Oh yeah, this is in This is it. This is kind of where we got this from. Addison County Jane Doe. Her skeletal remains were found off an old logging road in East Middlebury, Vermont, along with a male skeleton around the age of 9 to 11 and an unknown skeleton around the age of 13 to 15. The location has recently been identified as off Burnham Drive. And let's see, what's Burnham Drive? Let me see this. Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. So right here, if I remember correctly, we're Munson Road and then Burnham Drive right there. So I just put it right there, and I made it 3/4 of a mile from here. So if you remember earlier, it said 3/4 of a mile off of this road. So then I went 3/4 of a mile, and that puts you on Burnham Drive and right in this area right there. So that's where they were found. A road that did not exist at the time. Her cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head. She possibly died around 1932 to 1934. So there you go. You know? And it says skeleton remains of 3 persons were found off an old logging road in East Middlebury, Vermont. And I think this is another one. I mean, these aren't really helping, these doe pictures here. Oh, there you go, everybody. That's it. Yeah, I can't wait to be able to use this. Even that new deck that we've got out there. Oh, yeah, it's going to be good. Anyways, that's it. That's the case. That's one of the main ones we've been, you know. They don't want to exhume the body again, and I'm thinking, no, you exhume the body until you identify the person. Okay. I mean, I'd even pay to exhume it again, but we have DNA. It's just got so much bacteria in it that we need to use something called enrichment, and that process is just being developed, and it seems like they have made it through that, so we'll be one of the first cases being used and to use it on, and hopefully that does it. I think that'll be just as cool of a feeling as Daniel Armentrout. All right, thank you, Dobby Smith, Jessica Schubach, Callie Gal 3, Georgina Stoliker, Callie Gal 3, Bama Forever, Run the World, Tim Bray, Bama Forever was a cat eye there, then Crime Freak, Betty Smith, Tim Bray again, we became a freak, K. Me, Eugenie, Aaron, Bama Forever again, Billy Juliana, Your Gypsy, Eugenie, Simple Life Days, Daryl Montgomery, Gwendolyn B., Jessica Schubach, 42 months, and Bama Forever again. So generous. And Bama Forever again, and Renee H. So not a lot of contributors, but very generous from the individuals who did. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. It's just a scientific process using centrifuges and things like that. It doesn't matter how they extract it. It's more the other process. We already went through all that like an hour ago. Well, I bet you if you looked it up online, you could just get the answer. How do you extract DNA? It'll explain it all. They use these centrifuges, spin it around, and it comes out in this little gel with these little, I mean, that's the visual representation of it. They just grind up the bones. We've gone over that 50,000 times as well. So if you have bones, you grind it up and you create more surface area, and they extract the DNA out of it by using whatever processes they use, you know? I mean, Colleen's explained it, you know? I mean, I'm not sure why that portion matters. It's just they do. They are able to extract DNA. So DNA extraction involves lysing the cells and insolubilizing DNA, which is followed by chemical or enzymatic methods to remove macromolecule lipids, RNA, or proteins. There you go. Does that help you? Yeah. So here we go. We'll just read. Oh crap! Is it gonna? Right here. There are 3 basic steps involving DNA extraction. That is lysis, precipitation, and purification. In lysis, the nucleus and the cell are broken open, thus releasing DNA. This process involves mechanical disruption and uses enzymes and detergents like proteinase or something, K, to dissolve the cellular proteins and free the DNA. Now they do the bones so they can get more surface area to find more DNA. It's sort of like DNA puzzle pieces. You know, like I could actually draw this thing. Let's see if I could do it. Yeah. So just a second. I'll just open up Photoshop. I'm going to show you. I've gone over all this stuff with Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. Yeah, I think it's in sequencing they do this. So let's see. View extras. Yeah. So let's say the DNA looked like your actual DNA looked like this or something. It's like, let's just pretend that it was like, you know, I mean, I'm just randomly drawing lines just to, you know, like let's say it's like this. You know, who knows, right? I'm just throwing it out there, right? And then what happens sometimes is you'll get, here, watch this. You might find, they'll find something like this, right? So they'll find this exact same, this exact same thing is found as a DNA part, right? Like right there, right? And then later they find the same part, and that time it goes to, has this whole segment, but it was able to identify that this was here. So then it knows, okay, great. Now we're going to add this part here to the sequence. But they, you know, they don't know what your DNA is. I'm just saying they find this, and then another piece out there has more on it. So then they're able to go back to this original, like let's say another piece of DNA out here has this in it, right? So this program that they have goes around and says, "Ooh, we found this in this one, so now we know we can take that rest of it and put it here." So now it would kind of look like this, right? So now you've put that together. Then later on, they might find this part and then go, "Oh shit, look at it, it's right there," and it had, that other chunk had this information on it. So then they keep building it out that way. Does that make sense? It should, because it's kind of simple, you know. It's like a really simple. So let's say you had, this was something, another, in the ground up DNA, they're not perfect strands of DNA is what I'm trying to get at. And so let's say they find this out there somewhere. So it checks this against everything else and then says, oh, look, this part right here matches these two. So then we can take this portion and put it right there because we found these two. See? So it keeps building it out, and then later it might find these four, and then, you know, keep putting it together and turns it into a full sequence. I mean, I don't know. There's just tons and tons and tons until they have a full sequence. They just need specific amount to do the genetic genealogy. Like, they don't have to have a full sequence. It's just, does it have enough to, you know, sort of here's what it is most human beings share like 99% of our DNA, so you can just fill in a lot of it generically. Okay, it's just these certain places are different, and that's where it's important to get those pieces and put in there. The rest of it they just fill in manually because we all have the same DNA. You get it? So there's just a little small amount that's different in each person that makes us totally different. The rest of it's all the same. Yeah, well, they just start off and they start putting together and find where things overlap, I think, and they just keep adding to it until they get a sequence. I mean, that's how it sounded like it was being explained by Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick. And then let's say there's even more out here. You know, now that you have this, you might stumble upon in there, it's grabbing these little chunks of DNA out there. You might find like this whole portion here, but then it had a whole bunch more, and then you go boom, and you add that to it, and it just keeps building, 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 building. And you try to, you know, you have to eliminate the bacteria DNA that's in there too, and they have a way to do that amazingly. I don't remember what the percentage is and everything, but anyways, thank you guys for being here tonight. We'll just see you guys tomorrow, all right? Yeah. They create a DNA profile from the DNA fragments. Yep. This found a tooth without body. Yeah, you know, they can do that. Zozo, we've gone over that 100. I mean, come on, Zozo, Jesus. We've even had cases where we've used a tooth to identify the person, right? Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when they do, like, Daniel Armentrout, I think, was used a tooth out of the mouth. I think that's where we got his DNA from. So, of course. That one, they used enrichment, but it turns out they didn't need, well, that's weird because enrichment has settings in it where you can do too much of something and then it doesn't work, so they had to dial it back and then it worked. God, man, what's going on? I think Cindy made me sick by asking me, but it's definitely just, I can tell it's allergies. Who cares? Anyways, thanks for being here tonight, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. And thanks everybody for supporting the channel who did. Yeah, we know, Daniel. We've gone over that already. It's not interesting. Okay? Of course they're going to try to screw up the DNA part of it. They're idiots, okay? They're dumb people. It's just, we've already did a whole show where we discussed that whole thing. I'm just trying to figure out why it's such a big deal right this second. The tissue inside the tooth is rich in DNA, and also the fact that it's surrounded by protective tissue. But that's not what she asked, Dobby Smith. But thanks. Yeah, it's just not interesting right now. It's just kind of we've already talked about it so many times. We had a whole show on the DNA. Remember that?
There's a lot of crazy, no matter what, there's always wackos out there that'll think Richard Allen's innocent, and they'll think Brian Koberger's innocent because it makes it more interesting and cool. And they're just nut jobs. These guys are fighting for horrible people. Let their attorneys do it. Because you're going to look really stupid when it doesn't come out the way you want it to be. He's not. He's not innocent. Truth and transparency. You're just a dumb person. You know. Let's see. Dobby Smith. Ooh. That's not even what you asked, Zozo. We already... Of course that's what's in there. You said, so if you just found a tooth, you could identify the person? Well, yeah. Right. You crush it up. I think I'm being trolled tonight. That's what I think. Oh yeah, that's a pretty new account, don't you think? Yeah, you're just gonna shove me off. What is this? I think that's a troll account. It was just created. So I'm gonna have to hide that one. See you later. Created in May. Now they're not really playing games. That's just what they do, Danielle. They always try to do that kind of stuff. The problem is when you watch these other people, they try to sell you that all this stuff's going on when it's really just mundane attorney shit they do all the time. Meet me at the canyon. It wasn't really a canyon, it was just a cliff. But thanks, Dobby, for filling it in. The part of the question that she didn't ask. But when they're, you know, if a tooth's been sitting on the ground for a long time, it doesn't really have those same things that you're talking about. They have to, like, grind, you know, molars can still have stuff in there, but they get filled with bacteria pretty quick. I think they like using your femur or hip bones have a good source in there. Anyways, don't you guys think that they should, if we can't get the DNA after doing enrichment, that they need to exhume the body again? I mean, why not do this? There's 3 different people that would be identified. Yep. Okay. Anyways, thanks everybody. Thanks for being here. We did get to the goal. You know what's weird is I can't get to where do I have? Where the hell is my? Wow. I don't even know if I can stop streaming. I can't find OBS Studios. Is it over here? Huh. No idea. But you guys can still see my screen, right? How weird. Oh, everything on that bottom bar is frozen. So I can't click on it. What do you mean the screen looks weird? What does it look like? Yes, I am see the screen. Yeah, I already removed that person, Gummo, because they're a troll. Yeah, they were just created in May, so it's pretty obvious. There's a channel with the same name. They think they do the same kind of stuff.
Because because of what they're made out of. You know, it's just like finding a woolly mammoth tusk. You know, why doesn't that just erode? Or you find dinosaur teeth that are still sitting there. Yeah, it's weird. I can't open up the... Let me just try to hit Control-Alt-Delete and see what happens. If I go to Task Manager, if I go to OBS, can I open it? Expand? Oh. It's got like 100 things open. Yeah, so anyways, I don't know what to do here to end the show, but thank you for being here, and I'll just have to shut it down on the YouTube side of it. Oh, I can't even do that. Holy crap. Oh man, I'm screwed. This is so crazy, because I can't even... I'm going to have to go over to my other computer. Hold on a second. Yeah, so here's the thing is I can't open up OBS. I can see it, but I can't open it. And I can't stop the stream. And then I also can't open up Chrome to open up YouTube Studio, but I can close it down on the YouTube end, okay? So, hey everybody, thank you all for being here. We'll see you guys tomorrow for some more depth information. All right. And I can't even do the video or anything, because I have no access to OBS Studio, even if when I right-click down there. What's going on? Oh, I can't. Yeah, it's weird. I can't even hit the window bar down there. I think I need to reboot. So, I'm going to go over to the other computer. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Be safe out there.